Professor Allan Saxe on the line. He's a political science professor at University of Texas at Arlington. And Professor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I would think it would be you being there in Texas. It would be somewhat shocking to realize that in upstate New York, it's not all New York City, and the battle between gun rights and what we call here the New York SAFE Act, which puts great restrictions on gun owners, that this battle continues just like it does outside. Everybody thinks of New York as being just New York City. There's a very rural upstate New York up here that prides in the Second Amendment, takes pride in the Second Amendment.
You're so right. And I try to tell my students that New York is, and by the way, many states the same way, Pennsylvania, even Illinois, where it is not just Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It is other parts of Pennsylvania as well. And certainly that is true of New York as well. I remind my students, although they know very little about history, that New York has had Republican governors in the past,
yeah.
You know, and that there are parts of New York that are very, very conservative, especially. But New York City is a nation unto its own, as everybody knows.
Yeah, it is. And it's for these two assemblymen, both Republicans, it's a challenge because in the assembly especially, it's dominated by Democrats, and some of the crazy bills that come out of there that are. We were just talking, Professor, about the Sessions issue and the president's tweets, and of course we were planning to talk just about Sessions today, but now all of a sudden, with the tweets over the weekend, everybody's talking about, did President Obama order the phones to be tapped at Trump Tower? And
of course, everybody, all the holdovers and the people from President Obama's administration all lined up to say, it ain't true, it ain't true, it ain't true. What has to happen is that we need committee investigations, both the House and the Senate, intelligence committees. It looks like that they're going to be at work on President Trump's comments, that President Obama tapped the Trump Tower and tapped President Trump's phone conversations. The issue is President Obama may not have actually done it, but somebody may have done it in his place, knowing that's what he wanted done.
Right.
It could have been a rogue operative. It could have been, someone like that. It really is almost like Watergate in the sense that the initial Watergate burglars, if people remember who they were, the big issue was, were they attached to President Nixon? Did President Nixon know about this? And of course, he was in denial, said no, until eventually it came about that yes, he was knowledgeable of what had happened. That could be the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but they have to prove it. And the difference is the media in those days was very much lined up against President Nixon. Today, the media is lined up against President Trump and very much on the Democratic and President Obama side. There's a big difference. And the Republican Party seems very weak in their defense of President Donald Trump. It's almost like they're all hedging their bets.
Well, and that's what I got to tell you. I'm sometimes and we're going to lose Professor Saxe here, and I appreciate it, Professor. But it's one thing to say that it's the media, blaming the media. And listen, Mark Butler was a member of the media.
Yes, it was.
The fact is, I'm not sure that's overly fair, right? Would you say fair?
It's not fair. I think with Trump, and he's kind of a larger-than-life character, and
it's something that he's never seen
target.
before.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the point that he made there at the end was that Republicans are hedging their bets here.
Yeah,
no one's coming all out there and saying, I want to be the target.
Well, don't forget, I think during the primary there were some hard feelings that were created, and I think that it's going to take, again, I go back to the word statesmanship. I think it's up to the president to kind of be sure those relationships are mended.